I had I'm going to be kind of vague on this, a client. I called him. He was referred to me from one of my friends, a man named Mike Mead, who, hey, passed away on my birthday. You know, how inconsiderate is that? Now I have to think of him every time I have a birthday. Just kidding. Mike was a friend of mine, and he referred a man to me years ago. And I called the man and I said, are you going to come to my class in Southern California? He was in Northern California. And he said, I don't know. He said, I have to talk to my doctor to see if I can travel yet. He said, and he gave me a time frame. It was more than a year ago. He said, my son committed suicide. And he said, and I just recently had open heart surgery. And I said, wow, who couldn't do something like that? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, a traumatic thing like that, like your baby killing themselves, I said, it must have put so much pressure in your heart. He said, are you saying that my open heart surgery is connected? And I said, I don't know. I don't have any idea whether it's connected or not. But I can't imagine what I would have to do if one of my kids did that. I said, you know, and I do think things like that are connected. You break the heart that hard that you've got to do something to alleviate that pressure. And open up the chest cavity may be it. I'm not recommending it. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together, maybe getting 6 or 7 or 5 or 9. But during the class, we spoke a bit about this, quite a bit about the event, and the gentleman said, I have to get over my son. And I said, wow. Which aspect of your son do you want to get over? Do you want to get over his first baseball game, his first step? The first time you balanced him on a bicycle and he started to ride? I said, which aspect do you want to get over? And he said, none of them. I don't want to get over one single aspect. I said, of course not. He said, but that's what they've been telling me to do. They tell me that I have to get over this. And I said, okay, fine. That's what they tell you to do. I said, they can tell you to jump over a tall building in a single bound. I said, but I can't do that. I'm not going to bet that you can do it either. I said, what you have to do is, and he stopped and he said, wait a minute. He said, not everybody needs to know about this. I said, right. I said, putting it out there, I said, from time to time. He said, yeah. He said, no, I don't need to get over any of my son, and I'm not going to. And you could see he came to some resolution there. Therapists, sometimes they're well-meaning, but I don't know what it means to get over anything. Get on with your life, enjoy your life, grieve completely, enjoy life. When you have to grieve fully. It's bittersweet, is that what they call it? Sensation. But it's part of life, and as all of your emotions are.